Have you ever felt the heavy weight of losing a woman who loved and cared for you deeply? Not just any woman, but the person who stood by your side through thick and thin when the world seemed too much to bear. Losing a woman like that isn't just sad, it's life-changing. For a man, the moment he realizes he's lost a woman who truly loved him is like standing in the middle of a storm and watching everything he once knew drift away. It's not the anger or blame that lingers. It's the quiet pain of knowing he's the reason she's gone. Regret creeps in slowly at first, but before long, it becomes impossible to ignore. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining our community, you'll gain access to more powerful insights, practical Stoic lessons, and inspiring content to help you navigate life with strength and purpose. Hit the subscribe button now, turn on the notification bell, and become part of a growing movement dedicated to living boldly and virtuously. Your voice matters here. Let's grow together. Let's take a journey into his heart and mind to understand what happens when he realizes what he's lost and how it changes him forever. The realization cuts deeper than he could have imagined, surfacing memories of every moment when he could have acted differently, every word he wishes he hadn't said, and every gesture of love he failed to return. This pain isn't just about losing her, it's about confronting himself. The version of him that took her for granted, that didn't see her worth until it was too late. This loss becomes a mirror, forcing him to face truths he might have avoided for years. It's here, in this raw and vulnerable space, that growth begins if he chooses to embrace it. The first realization. At first, it's just a feeling, a quiet discomfort he can't quite name. Then, as the days go by, the realization grows stronger. He begins to notice the gaps in his life where you used to be. The little things start to stand out. The silence, where your laughter used to fill the room, the absence of your texts checking on him, and the way his world feels colder without your presence. He remembers how you were his safe place. When the world felt overwhelming, you were the one person who made it all seem manageable. You were more than just a partner. You were his anchor, his calm in the storm. But he didn't see it clearly then. Now, those moments come back to him, not as memories, but as sharp reminders of what he let slip away. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. But what he wants now isn't money or success. It's the love and support he lost. It's the woman who stood by him when he had nothing, who gave him her heart without asking for anything in return. And now, no amount of success can fill the emptiness you left behind. The ache grows sharper with every passing day." He begins to recognize that your presence wasn't just a luxury, it was a necessity. The joy of hearing your voice after a long day, the comfort of knowing someone genuinely cared for his well-being, and the way you believed in him when he doubted himself. Those were treasures he now understands he may never find again. Each memory feels like a stone in his heart, heavier with the realization of just how much he lost. He also starts noticing how empty his accomplishments feel without you to share them with. The promotions, the successes, and the moments of triumph seem hollow because the one person who mattered most isn't there to celebrate with him. He thought success would bring happiness, but now he knows the truth. Happiness was found in the quiet, unspoken love you gave so freely. And without it, life feels incomplete. The regret sets in. Regret doesn't announce itself. It sneaks in, slow and unrelenting. He starts replaying all the moments he took you for granted, the times he ignored your kindness, The arguments where he let his pride win, and the way he made you feel small when all you ever did was try to lift him up. These memories aren't just painful, they're heavy, like weights he carries everywhere he goes. He thinks back to the days when he was struggling, and you were there. Not because you had to be, but because you chose to be. You believed in him when no one else did. You gave him your love, your time, and your energy, even when he had nothing to give in return. But as he found success, he let his ego take over. He started to believe he didn't need you anymore, that he could stand on his own. And in doing so, he forgot the very person who helped him rise. Now, in the silence of his own thoughts, he wonders, why couldn't I see her worth when she was right in front of me? Seneca's words come to mind. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. For him, the suffering is both. He imagines what he could have done differently, but he also knows the reality. It's too late to make it right. In those quiet moments, the weight of his regrets begins to grow, and he finds himself stuck in a loop of what-ifs. He thinks about all the small things he dismissed, the long nights you stayed awake just to talk, the sacrifices you made to ensure his dreams came true. Those moments were nothing to him at the time. But now, in the stillness of his mind, they're the things he longs for. He realizes that while he was chasing success, he was losing the very foundation that had made him feel whole. What good is success if you lose the person who made you feel seen and loved? He wonders if there is any way back to the person you once were together. But the distance between you feels like an insurmountable gap. As the days go on, he searches for a way to make amends, but the road to redemption is unclear. He wonders if you would even recognize him now, if you would still see him as the man you once loved. He wants to apologize, to somehow undo the damage, but the fear of rejection keeps him paralyzed. He knows the truth, though. The time for change has passed, and the person he once was with you no longer exists. The realization that he can never go back to those moments is the hardest truth he has to accept. In the end, he knows he must live with the consequences of his actions, and the regret will remain, a constant reminder of what he lost. Search for meaning. When a man loses someone irreplaceable, he's forced to look inward. He begins to ask himself questions he's avoided for years. Who am I without her? Why did I push her away? What does this say about the man I've become? These questions aren't easy to answer, but they're necessary. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But in these moments, he feels powerless. He can't control the fact that you're gone. He can't undo the hurt he caused or bring back the woman who once loved him unconditionally. This realization humbles him. It forces him to face the truth about himself, his flaws, his failures, and the way he let his ego destroy something beautiful. He begins to reflect on the choices he made and the person he became. He sees how he let temporary success blind him to the lasting value of your love. Each reflection feels like a mirror, showing him not just who he was, but who he could have been if he had cherished you the way you deserved. The silence that now surrounds him is deafening, a stark contrast to the warmth you once brought into his life. He starts to wonder if he's too far gone, if there's even a path to redemption left for him. He wishes he could turn back time, do things differently, but that's not how life works. The weight of his own regret feels unbearable at times, yet it's the only thing left for him to carry. He learns in the most painful way that without growth and humility, even love will slip away. And now all he can do is try to rebuild the man he should have been. knowing that it's a journey he may never finish. Epictetus reminds us it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. For him, this is a moment of reckoning. He can choose to dwell in regret, or he can learn from his mistakes and honor the lessons your love taught him. The yearning for reconnection. As time passes, the desire to reconnect becomes almost unbearable. He'll think about reaching out, crafting messages he'll never send. He'll replay your conversations in his mind, hoping to find some way to fix what he broke. But deep down, he knows the truth. Some doors, once closed, can never be reopened. He sees you now, thriving and happy without him. Your glow is undeniable, but it's no longer for him. That realization stings more than anything else. He tells himself he'll do better if you give him another chance. But he also knows that your decision to leave wasn't made lightly. You left because you finally realized your own worth, and you refused to settle for less than you deserved. The haunting memories. Memories of you linger in his mind like a song he can't forget. He hears your laughter in the quiet moments, feels your presence in the places you once shared, and sees your face in the moments you've moved on from. These memories aren't just reminders of the past. They're haunting echoes of everything he lost. Marcus Aurelius said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." But for him, the injury is deeper than he ever expected. It's not just about losing you, it's about losing the best version of himself, the version that existed when he was with you. Your love made him better, and now, without it, he feels like a shadow of the man he once was. He knows he'll never find another you. Not because other people aren't amazing, but because your love was unique. You loved him in a way that was patient, kind, and unwavering. And now he's left with the memory of that love, knowing he'll never experience it again. There's a constant ache, a space inside him that no one can fill. He's tried to fill it with distractions, with new people, but it's futile. They don't see him the way you did, truly, deeply, without judgment. The love you gave him was a rare gift, and he realizes now, too late, that he squandered it. Everywhere he goes, he's haunted by the smallest things. A song that played when you first met, a place where you shared quiet moments, a gesture that once felt like home. They all remind him of the love he let slip away. It's a cruel irony that he only truly understood the depth of your love when it was gone. He wonders how he could have been so blind, so careless, with something that now feels like the only thing that mattered. In the absence of your love, all he's left with are fragments of a past he can never return to, a future that now feels uncertain, and the overwhelming weight of the memories that refuse to let him go. The final realization. And then the deepest truth finally settles in. You weren't just a part of his life. You were the best part. He realizes that your worth wasn't in what you did for him, but in who you were. Your kindness, your strength, and your ability to love unconditionally were gifts he didn't appreciate until they were gone. He watches you from a distance now, proud of the woman you've become. But that pride is mixed with pain, knowing he no longer has a place in your life. Seneca's words echo in his mind. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. For him, your story together was far too short, but it was good. It was better than he deserved, and now it's over. In losing you, he's learned a lesson he'll carry for the rest of his life. He understands now that love is not a possession to be taken for granted. but a rare gift that demands respect and gratitude. He's come to terms with the fact that his selfishness and neglect led to the end of something beautiful. This realization, while painful, also sparks a shift within him. It's the first step toward becoming a better man, though he knows it's too late to undo the past. But for you, life moves forward, and as he watches you thrive, he can only hope that you've found the happiness and peace that he could never provide. There's a quiet acceptance in knowing that you've outgrown the man he was, and now he must learn to let go, even as the weight of his regrets continues to press on his heart. Though he may never find peace with what's been lost, the truth he's come to understand is that growth often comes at the cost of pain. The love you shared was once a part of him, and now it's a lesson that shapes his future. But seeing you move on, stronger and more beautiful than ever, reminds him that the best of what he could have been lives on in you. Proof that sometimes the most meaningful things in life are also the most fleeting. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below